I've always been obsessed with sound. The kind that slips under the skin. The kind that can change the air in a room. When I was a kid, I used to record noises around the house. Creaking doors, the hum of the fridge, my own voice whispering nonsense. And then play them back, slower and slower, until they stopped sounding human. That's probably why I became an audio technician. For the past 5 years, I've worked freelance, cleaning up old recordings for podcasts, documentaries, and occasionally local law enforcement. 90% of the job is dull, removing static, isolating voices, boosting dialogue. But sometimes I get weird stuff. One time, a ghost hunting group sent me an EVP session from an abandoned church. I didn't believe in ghosts, but when I isolated a low-frequency layer, I swear I heard someone say, "Leave." But that wasn't the thing that broke me. That wasn't this. It started 3 months ago when I got an email from a private client named Evan Rhodes. No company name, no LinkedIn, just a Gmail account and a short message. "Hey, I heard you specialize in audio cleanup. I've got something I need analyzed discreetly. It's urgent. I can pay double your rate," I replied, asking for details. He sent a single file, Sonic Recording 1 WEV, along with another message. This was captured during a field experiment near an abandoned testing facility outside Seattle. There's something in the waveform I can't identify. You'll hear it around the 247 mark. Please don't share this file, that was it. No explanation of what the experiment was. No contract. Just a 25 millibyte audio file. When I opened it, I expected a mess of wind noise or distant static, but it started strangely calm. A steady hum like the background noise of an empty warehouse. Then the faint scrape of shoes on concrete. A man's breathing, Evan, I assumed. He was muttering to himself something like, "Recording number 1 ambient test." Then a pause. At 2:43 I heard it. A tone, high-pitched but organic, like something alive trying to mimic a sine wave. It started soft, just barely within hearing range, then rose until it cut straight through the mix. I felt it more than I heard it. My chest tightened. My right ear rang, then behind the tone, a voice, a whisper. I boosted the gain and slowed the playback. It said, "Don't listen." I froze. I replayed it again. Same thing, a whisper beneath the frequency, low, distorted, but definitely human. When I replied to Evan asking what the hell that was, he wrote back immediately, "You heard it too. Good. You're not crazy." That sound shouldn't exist. He attached a second file, Sonic Recording 2.wev. That's when I should have stopped. But I didn't. The second recording was different. No footsteps this time. Just the tone, starting immediately, fluctuating like an electronic heartbeat. It pulsed, fast, then slow, then fast again, almost like Morse code. I tried analyzing it spectrally, but every time I zoomed in, my software glitched. The waveform broke into geometric shapes, spirals, jagged lines, a pattern that almost looked like an eye. And then something strange happened. My speakers crackled even after I stopped playback. I unplugged them, but I could still hear it faintly, like the sound was still echoing somewhere in the room. When I checked the file properties, the duration field read "Duro-Draw-Dear," even though it had clearly played for over 3 minutes. I told myself it was just a corrupted header. Digital ghosting happens sometimes, but I couldn't stop thinking about that whisper. "Don't listen." I emailed Evan again. This time, no response. The next night, I got a voicemail from an unknown number. No greeting, just breathing. Then the tone again, faint but distinct, buried under static. I hung up immediately, but the ringing in my ears wouldn't stop. That's when things started changing in my apartment. The first thing I noticed was the fridge. It started humming at a slightly higher pitch, almost musical. Then the light in the hallway buzzed in sync with it. I'd unplug something and another sound would start. Like the tone was moving from one thing to another. One night around 2:30 a.m., I woke up to a noise I couldn't place. It wasn't coming from the speakers or the vents or the walls, it was inside my head. Like tinnitus, but rhythmic. The same pulse I'd heard in the second recording. When I checked my laptop, there was a new file on my desktop. I hadn't created it. It was named Sonic Recording Not WAV, no sender, no timestamp. I stared at it for a full minute before clicking play. This one started with silence, then slowly a faint breathing sound just like before. But this time it wasn't Evan's, it was mine. I recognized the hitch in the breath, the little throat sound I make when I'm nervous. It was me, recorded in my own apartment. Then the voice came again, clearer this time. "You shouldn't have listened." I yanked my headphones off, heart pounding. I checked every file, every folder. Nothing matched the audio fingerprint of that recording. It was as if it had been generated from scratch using samples of my own breathing. For the next week, I barely slept. Every time I turned on a device, my phone, my speakers, even the TV, the tone would find a way to come through. Sometimes faint, sometimes deafening. I tried deleting everything, even wiping my drive, but new files kept appearing, each one shorter, sharper, more distorted. Then one night I noticed something on the waveform I hadn't seen before. Hidden in the noise, tiny peaks and valleys that, when visualized, looked almost like letters. I enhanced the spectrogram and realized they were letters. Listen closer. I don't know what compelled me, but I did. I slowed the playback down to 1/10 speed. And under the tone deep and nearly inaudible, I heard something like a field recording. A room full of people whispering, overlapping each other, speaking nonsense syllables. Except every now and then they all said one phrase in unison. "He wakes when you hear him." I shut my laptop and threw it across the room. That night, I dreamed of a tall, faceless figure standing in a hallway made of speakers. Every wall pulsed with sound. My own voice looped endlessly, whispering, "You shouldn't have listened." When I woke up, there was blood on my pillow from my ears. I went to an audiologist the next day. They ran every test and found nothing wrong. "Perfect hearing," the doctor said. But when she turned to leave the room, I swear I heard her hum the same tone under her breath. I quit all my freelance work, unplugged everything. I moved my desk into the corner of my apartment where the noise seemed weakest. But it still found me, sometimes in the wind, sometimes in the pipes. Then Evan finally emailed again. "If you're still hearing it, it means he's chosen you. Don't listen to any more files. Don't try to decode it. The sound isn't a signal, it's an invitation." Attached was one final file, finalsonic.wav. No part of me wanted to play it, but I couldn't resist. Curiosity is a disease. This one started completely silent, not even background hiss. Then at around the 1:15 mark, a faint knock, 3 taps, spaced evenly apart. Then again, and again, until I realized the knocks were coming from inside my apartment. I took off my headphones, and the sound was still there, 3 knocks, steady and deliberate. I grabbed my phone flashlight and followed it to the bathroom door. The knocking stopped. When I opened it, the bathroom was pitch black. The light switch didn't work. But from inside the darkness, I heard the tone, soft, rising, impossibly loud in my skull. Then a voice whispered right next to my ear, "Now you're part of the signal. Everything after that is fragments." I remember the neighbors pounding on the wall, complaining about a noise that sounded like someone screaming through a radio. I remember blood dripping from my nose, my ears, my mouth. I remember recording everything, trying to prove it was real. But when I checked the files later, there was no sound at all. Just silence. I moved 2 states away after that. I threw out all my recording gear. I even stopped listening to music. For a while I thought it was over, until last week. My new laptop, the one I've never connected to my old drives, created a new folder on its own. Hidden deep in the system cache, inside it was a single file, Sonic Recording 4.wave. I deleted it instantly, but I swear I still hear it sometimes. Late at night, in the hum of the fridge, in the silence between thoughts, the same whisper, looping endlessly, getting closer every time. "You shouldn't have listened." I work night security for a government storage facility in Oregon. No one really knows what's kept here, and not even the guards. We're told it's acoustic research equipment from a decommissioned military program. Sounds boring, right? That's what I thought too. I took the job for the pay and the silence. I've done overnight shifts at warehouses, factories, even morgues. Nothing bothers me anymore. Or it didn't. The facility is huge, 6 levels underground, miles of concrete corridors. Each level has a different access clearance. I only guard the top 2, but we're supposed to monitor the security feeds from below. Those levels are always dark, always locked, always quiet until about a month ago. It was a Thursday night. Dead quiet. I was halfway through a stale sandwich when the sound feed glitched. Every camera has a small mic attached. You know, in case someone's down there. Usually it's all static, but this time the feed from sub-level 4 suddenly went live. At first it was just a low hum, then faintly something like, "breathing." I tapped the monitor thinking it was feedback, but the sound got louder. Then I heard it, a tone. A single pure high-frequency note that made the hair on my arm stand up. Then came a voice, "Is anyone listening?" I froze. It wasn't coming through the radio or intercom. It was inside the audio feed, like someone whispering through the system itself. I tried responding through the mic, but my voice didn't transmit. The system wasn't two-way. It couldn't have been. The voice spoke again, softer now, almost like it was right behind me. "Don't turn it off." I yanked my headset off and muted the channel. I told myself it was some leftover recording, an old test that booted accidentally. But the next night, it happened again. Same tone, same voice. That's when I noticed something else. Whenever the sound started, the entire building seemed to breathe. The air vents pulsed rhythmically, like lungs expanding and contracting. Even the lights flickered in sync. After the second night, I asked my supervisor, Grant, about it. He laughed it off, said the lower levels were sealed decades ago. But later, when I pressed him, he gave me a look I'll never forget. This sort of quiet, terrified stare, and said, "If you hear it again..." Don't answer, he didn't explain. He just walked away. The third night, around 3 a.m., the tone came again. Louder this time. It vibrated through the floor. I checked the sub-level 4 camera feed. The screen was black except for the faint outline of something moving, like a shadow crawling across the lens. The voice spoke again. "He's awake." Then the feed went dead. The next morning, Grant didn't show up for his shift. I figured he called in sick, but when I asked the admin, they said Grant had been reassigned and wouldn't be back. No one seemed surprised. Over the next week, new things started happening. First, the tone began leaking into other channels, even the hallway speakers. The janitor, Luis, swore he heard someone humming through the vents. Then one of the new guards quit mid-shift, said the sound followed him home. I didn't believe him, until it followed me too. It started in my apartment. I'd be lying in bed, half asleep, when I'd hear it. That same piercing tone, faint but familiar. My fridge would buzz at the exact pitch. My phone would vibrate even when it wasn't ringing. I tried to drown it out with music, but it just adjusted, matching every frequency I played. Then I started getting nosebleeds. Sharp headaches. My ears rang constantly. I emailed corporate to report the noise interference, but the message bounced back. Recipient does not exist. 2 nights later, I found something new on my security console, an unlisted camera feed. It was labeled Archive A Audio Storage. I'd never seen it before. I clicked it. The feed showed a narrow concrete room with dozens of shelves stacked with black cases. Each case was labeled with a date and a name: 1979, Pilot A; 1983, Test Subject 2; 1996, Civilian Recording. At the center of the room sat an old reel-to-reel tape recorder, still spinning. The tone began again, but this time I saw it. The tape itself moved in sync with the sound, warping, stretching like it was alive. Then just for a second, I caught a reflection in the monitor. Something tall and thin, standing behind the recorder. It didn't move. It didn't blink. The feed cut out. After that, the tone started following me everywhere, at the gas station, in the hum of streetlights. Even when I covered my ears, I could feel it vibrating in my skull. I finally broke down and told one of the other guards, Terrence. He laughed at first, but that night he stayed to see for himself. Around 2:15, the sound started again. He looked at me, pale, frozen, then pointed at the monitor. Sub-level 4's door had opened on its own. We watched as the cameras flickered one by one, leading deeper down. The last feed showed a figure standing in the middle of the corridor, facing the camera. No features, just static where the face should be. Terrence whispered, "Jesus Christ," and pulled the plug. But the image stayed on the screen. Then we heard the voice again, clearer than ever. "It's awake, and you're listening." The sound that followed wasn't human. It was like every frequency in the building collided at once. Low, high, ultrasonic, infrasonic, shaking the walls. Terrence screamed and ran. I couldn't move. My bones felt like they were vibrating apart. Then everything went black. When I woke up, the security room was silent. The monitors were off. Terrence was gone. My watch said 6:42 a.m. I told the morning crew that the system had shorted out. They didn't question it. They never do. But when I got home that day, there was a new voicemail on my phone. No caller ID, just static. And then Terrence's voice whispering, "It's in the sound." The message cut off with the same tone. Since then, I've started noticing things, patterns in the recordings, the same pulse hidden in every noise. Sometimes when I slow them down, I can almost hear words. He waits in the silence. Don't mute him, I can't sleep anymore. The tone's in my head constantly now, like my brain's tuned to some hidden frequency. I even started hearing it in people. Their voices carry that same modulation, tiny oscillations that shouldn't be there. I went back to the facility last week. I needed to know what was down there. The elevators to sublevel 4 were locked, but there's a manual override key hidden in the control room. When I used it, the panel lights flickered like it was fighting me, but the door opened. The elevator descended in total darkness. No light, no sound, just that feeling in my chest like the air was vibrating. When the doors opened, I saw a corridor lined with rusted doors. At the end, a single red light blinked. The hum was deafening. I followed it until I reached a massive metal door marked Acoustic Test Chamber, Restricted. It was slightly open. Inside was a huge circular room. The walls were covered in strange black panels, soundproofing maybe, and in the center was a chair facing a speaker the size of a car. A recording device sat beside it. A single label on the case read, Sonic Recording 1.wev. My blood ran cold. I'd heard of that file before. There was a story floating online a while back, some audio tech who went insane after analyzing a recording. I thought it was a creepypasta, but seeing the label I realized it wasn't fiction, it was real. On the floor near the recorder was a camera. I picked it up. The screen flickered to life, showing a man sitting in that same chair, headphones on, bleeding from his ears. His lips moved, but no sound came out. Then the tape cut to static. The tone started again, louder than ever, shaking the walls. I tried to run, but the door slammed shut. My vision blurred. The lights went out, then in the dark, a whisper right next to my ear. Now you've heard it too. The sound filled me. Not in my ears, but inside my bones. It was like my body became a speaker. My teeth vibrated. My heartbeat synced with the tone. When I came to, I was lying on the floor outside the chamber. The door was sealed. My nose was bleeding again. My watch said I'd been down there for 2 hours. I don't remember leaving. The next morning, the facility was closed. They said it was maintenance and every guard was reassigned. When I asked why, the manager said only one thing before hanging up. The sound got out. Since then, I've been staying in motels, driving at night just to avoid silence. But it doesn't matter. Every place I go, I hear it. Through vents, wires, even in the engine hum. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's that same voice. He wakes when you hear him. Last night, I found a flash drive in my bag. No label, no clue who put it there, it only had one file. Sonic Recording 1.wev. I didn't open it. Not yet. But even without playing it, I swear I can hear it humming. Like it's calling to me through the plastic, and if I hold it close enough to my ear sometimes, I think I can hear my own voice whispering back. Don't listen. My name is Mara Keller, and I used to work for a podcast production company in Seattle. We specialized in true paranormal stories, EVPs, urban legends, unexplained disappearances. I was the lead audio engineer. My job was to clean up listener submissions and make them sound eerie but believable. Last year, we started a new series called Sonic Encounters. It was supposed to focus on unheard frequencies, strange recordings that defied explanation. The first few episodes went viral. Haunted phone calls, the number stations mystery, all that. Then one night we got an email from an anonymous sender with a single file attached, Sonic Recording 1.wev, for your collection. The message said, "You won't believe what you hear." But it will believe you. I thought it was some weird marketing stunt, probably from a listener trying to scare us. But when I opened the file, I recognized the name immediately. I'd heard about it before. A viral creepypasta, supposedly cursed. It had circulated on dark audio forums years ago, linked to disappearances of sound technicians and security workers. I thought it was fiction, until I hit play. At first, it sounded like an empty warehouse. Faint echoes, then a low, almost subsonic hum, a man's voice muttering in the distance. Then that tone, high-pitched, sharp, the kind that makes your brain want to crawl out of your skull. I flinched and paused it, laughing nervously. My coworker Theo joked, "What, you scared already?" But I couldn't explain the pressure I felt in my chest, like something had leaned against me through the headphones. We decided to feature it in the next episode. Bad idea. When I cleaned the audio and slowed it down, I noticed a weird modulation. The tone wasn't random, it followed a pattern. I ran it through a spectrogram, expecting to see a waveform. Instead, it drew letters, at first random fragments, then full words. Listen. He's awake. Theo thought I was screwing with him. I wasn't. We recorded the episode the next day. I played the tone briefly while Theo narrated. The studio lights flickered. The mics picked up a hiss that wasn't in the file. It almost sounded like whispering. We cut the segment short. When I replayed the session later, there was a new voice layered beneath Theo's. It wasn't either of us, don't broadcast it. I thought it was just interference, but when I checked the raw track, the voice was gone. It only appeared on the mixed version, the one that had passed through our editing software. That night, my phone rang at 3:03 a.m. I didn't recognize the number. When I answered, there was silence. Then faintly the same tone from the file, followed by a whisper. He's awake. The call ended. When I went to the office the next morning, Theo didn't show up. His apartment was locked and no one had seen him since we'd recorded. 2 days later, I found his laptop still on his desk. On the screen was a paused video from an internal security feed, sub-level 4, timestamped 02:47 a.m. It showed Theo standing in front of a steel door labeled acoustic test chamber. He looked straight into the camera. Then the feed glitched, and a tall, faceless figure appeared behind him. The screen went black. That's when I realized this wasn't just an urban legend. Someone had been collecting these recordings, hiding them. I traced the original file's metadata. The IP pinged from a government domain, U.S. Acoustic Research Division, Facility 7. The same location mentioned in those creepypastas about the Sonic project. The more I dug, the more I found. Reports of researchers vanishing, archives sealed for safety, and a project called Sonus, a study into cross-dimensional auditory communication. Their goal had been to create a tone capable of bridging consciousness between frequencies. They'd succeeded, but it didn't connect them to another dimension. It invited something here. Over the next week, every recording I touched began to distort. Even normal podcasts started developing that same tone, buried deep under the dialogue. Then I started hearing it outside of work, in the refrigerator hum, in the elevator motor, in the sound of my own heartbeat. I moved my workstation home thinking I could isolate it, but the tone followed. My neighbors complained that my speakers screamed at night, even when they were unplugged. Then one evening, my computer froze, and the desktop filled with hundreds of files. Sonic recording 2.wave, Sonic recording 3.wave, Sonic recording 4.wave, each identical in size. I tried deleting them, but they reappeared. When I clicked one at random, it didn't open in any player. It just played by itself, like the system was hijacked. This time, it wasn't a tone. It was voices. Dozens of them whispering, layered together, repeating a phrase over and over. He waits in the silence. And underneath that, a name, Evan. I remembered that name. It was in one of the old threads. A technician who disappeared after working with Sonic recording 1.wave. His last known email had read, "The sound isn't a signal. It's an invitation." That night, my apartment went completely silent. Not just quiet, silent. I couldn't hear anything, not even my own breathing. My heart raced, but there was no sound. Then a voice spoke from behind me. "Now you're listening." I turned. Nothing there, but the air shimmered like heat on asphalt. A vibration rolled through my body, deep and low, shaking my teeth. Every object in the room started humming in unison. Glass, metal, even the floor. The lights flickered. Then faintly I heard whispers overlapping, urgent, "He's here. Don't mute him. Listen closer." I ran. I left everything, my laptop, my drives, my phone, and drove until sunrise. I stopped at a motel 3 towns over. But even there, the silence felt wrong. Too thick. Too heavy. When I finally slept, I dreamed of a room lined with black foam panels and a single speaker in the center, a chair in front of it. A man slumped over, bleeding from his ears. The speaker pulsed with light like it was breathing, then a whisper right beside me. "He can hear you now." When I woke up, my phone was on again. The battery should have been dead, but the screen glowed with a single message. "Sonic recording 6.wave has been uploaded." No sender. I don't remember downloading it, but it was there in my files. My curiosity, my stupid curiosity, got the better of me. I opened it. At first, just static. Then the tone. Only this time it was different. It sounded like words shaped from noise. When I slowed it down, I realized what it was. It was my own voice, saying things I'd never said. He's awake. He's listening through you. I shut my laptop and smashed it against the floor, but even then I could hear the sound echoing from inside the walls. Over the next few days, my hearing changed. Every sound felt like it carried meaning. The buzz of a light fixture wasn't random. It pulsed like Morse code. Whispers and white noise. Rhythms in the rain. It's like the whole world was one giant speaker and something was tuning itself through it, and it's learning to speak. I tried to contact someone, anyone, who might know more. I found a forum thread archived from years ago. A user named eRoads had posted, "If you've heard the sound, it's too late. Destroy your audio equipment, don't record, don't listen." The last reply was from someone calling themselves Security 7, a guard claiming to work at the facility. He wrote, "Sub-level 4 has been sealed. The sound got out. It's in us now." Those posts were dated the same week Theo disappeared. It all connects. The technician, the guard, the facility, the sound, whatever it is, it's spreading through frequencies, carried in files through electricity, maybe even through us. I started noticing patterns in my reflection, distortions whenever I heard the tone. My face would ripple slightly, as if seen through vibrating glass. Once I thought I saw someone else's outline layered over mine, tall, faceless, humming. Last night I drove back to Seattle. I needed to see the studio. The building was empty, the company long shut down. But when I walked into my old sound booth, the power came on by itself. The monitor lit up. A single file appeared on the screen. Sonic Recording 7.wave. I didn't touch it. I swear I didn't, but it started playing. This time it wasn't just sound. The speakers began to breathe. Air pushed in and out like lungs. The lights pulsed in rhythm. I felt my body vibrating, my chest resonating with the tone. Then I saw him, reflected in the glass of the booth. Tall, featureless. The air around him shimmered like heat, and the sound grew deafening. He reached out a hand, and when his fingers brushed the glass, the tone stopped. Silence. For a moment I thought it was over. Then slowly he tilted his head, as if listening, and I realized the silence wasn't silence at all. It was him listening back. I ran, but the door slammed shut. My vision blurred, the air thick with vibration. My last clear thought before blacking out was that same voice, his voice, whispering through the glass. "You are the signal now." I woke up in the hospital 2 days later. They said my neighbors found me collapsed in my apartment, surrounded by shattered electronics. My hearing is almost gone now. Permanent damage, they said. But sometimes when it's quiet, I can still hear faint frequencies no one else can. Low, rhythmic, pulsing like a heartbeat. Last night I borrowed a friend's phone to look up our old podcast. Sonic Encounters doesn't exist anymore. Every episode, every file, wiped from the internet, except one. A single clip, titled Sonic Recording 8.wave, broadcast sample. It's only 10 seconds long. The description reads, "Uploaded automatically from unknown device. I shouldn't have clicked it. But I did, and now I can hear him again. Not from the speakers. Not from the world around me, from inside me.